Okay, welcome back to the Comeback Cast. I'm Burke Rice, as always, with my co-hosts
Brian Slowick
and
Bill Potajo calling in from Cleveland, Ohio, where we finally have some sun. So sorry, it's on my face.
well, welcome back, castmates. Another week has passed by incredibly quick. I'm glad to be back with you and be back here in our cast. This is a first for us. I believe this is our 5th episode. Agreed?
Yes,
Is this 5?
Episode 5.
Yep. So when we put together the Comeback Cast plan, we talked about including others in our journey and including others' stories. You've heard some of our stories. You've heard kind of our mission through our first few episodes. We've touched on some funny things, but the idea all along was to include as many of you who are watching this or listening to this or reading our articles on Substack. Your stories are going to be as interesting or more interesting than ours. They're going to be inspirational. Our mission on the Comeback Cast has always been to stay positive and to talk about how either personal or professional adversity has led us to better places. And the only color I'll add to that is Hillary is my little sister. She is my only sibling. So unlike Brian, who has 5 siblings and is the youngest of those, I'm the oldest of 2. So that adds some background to the story of myself and Hillary, is that we are the 2 only children in our family. So Hillary, you've watched some of our episodes. We've talked for the last few months. You were always one of our first guests I certainly had in mind, obviously. You've gone through adversity, whether it was a veterinarian or whether it was a doctor or whether it was a rocket scientist when you went to Oregon State University. Give us some background on how you ended up where you did. One of the thoughts I had when I was thinking of you is your career went through its kind of career cycle, then you had a break. And then you went back into the corporate world and started SeaHill Consulting. So kind of walk us through that journey. The idea of Comeback Cast is after a break, you went into a whole new industry. You went into staffing from where you had been.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you, Brian, Bill, and Burke. B3, I like it. It's a pleasure to be on today. I have had the special privilege of being Burke's younger sister, and I don't have his humor, so don't expect that today. I do have his drive and just his sense. And my journey is one that I never would have predicted. I would have never thought I would be in this career right now, and I love every minute of it. And I think everything happens because it's supposed to happen. And as Burke noted, in 2009, I took a little left go right and took a retirement package and took a beat and got my golf game tuned up because I just wanted to be good. And when I was doing that, that's how this all came out. And the message I would like to kind of send to people thinking about their next chapter is it can happen anywhere. My next chapter came to me on a golf course. I was introduced to someone that said, this is what we're doing. Can you come in and consult for us? Because we think you have the right personality. And I fell into staffing and consulting through meeting these individuals. Started doing that and said, hold on here. This is something that I could be good at. I'm passionate about because the core of me has always been helping people. And what better way to help people than to work with them to realize what they want to do in their next chapter or for their first chapter and try and connect dots with jobs. And
so that's awesome. Let me just interject that for the audience that Hillary, you are CEO of SeaHill Consulting. You are also the first female president of your country club, which is Thunderbird, located in
Rancho Mirage, California.
And you're following in your father's footsteps as president, which is
he was
awesome.
President 2015.
Awesome. Now, if you could continue on, that's a lot of transitions even beyond what you just explained. So go ahead.
Yeah, I love it all. I mean, the country club has been an exceptional learning experience for me. I always say surround yourself with people that are better than you. And that's what I've gotten. I have learned more from the country club than I have been able to give it back to help SeaHill Consulting Group. And SeaHill Consulting Group, like any other business, is introductions and people that are vested in making you more successful. And that has been a great pleasure of Thunderbird, giving back to a golf community through hard work and, just volunteering is my give back. And I just enjoyed it.
Can I ask you a question there, Hillary?
Yep.
Just to give a little background too. So Thunderbird, beautiful place. It's always a treat for me to get to play there with Hillary and her husband, Jack. It's a 75-year-old club, which in Palm Springs makes it the second oldest golf club there. It's had
first 18-hole golf course in the desert.
It hosted a Ryder Cup in 1955. It's had the Rat Pack as members. It's got a lot of tradition to it, is my point. And that tradition included, for the first 74 years, only male presidents. So it hasn't just been a transition for Hillary to take that role, but I'm curious how it has been being the first woman. Also, did you confirm, are you the first child as well?
I am the first child as well. I am the first woman.
So our father was president a while back. So how has that been? Do you think it's been any different for you?
I love being the first woman president. It is great. It is not what represents me. It is being good at whatever I am doing and giving 1,000% to it. Where I am honored to be a woman, I like to say I was asked to be the president because of what I can help Thunderbird do to move forward. That is exactly how we are a woman-owned small business for SeaHill. Those are letters. That is not how we want to be represented. We want to be represented as helping people find what brings them passion in their next chapter. And that's what brings me joy.
Yeah.
It brings me joy in everything I do in helping people, whether it's in a golf course, whether it's feeding, whether it's finding a job. That's my joy. And when you say comeback, I look at it as a comeback, and I look at it as a realization of what brought me the most joy in my life, which brings success. When you're happy and you recognize at what point in your life, what brings you joy professionally is your aha moment. And that can happen more than once. And I loved my first job. I love this job. I've just continued to evolve through change by recognizing, one, where I think I can add the most value, but two, what brings me the most joy. And I always say to people, if you have to wake up and work, which we all do because we need to support our lives, what is going to make you get out of bed and say, I can make a difference, I can have some fun today, and I can make some money? That, to me, recognizing that and recognizing when you might not do it right is okay to change. And that change it doesn't matter if it's 35 or 55, or if someone, you were laid off and you're forced to change. It's taking the second to recognize you want to change, and that change is happening, and what is going to bring you joy in that next chapter. They're chapters, not changes in my world.
Perfect transition to the author. Go ahead, Bill.
Yes.
No, I was going to ask, first of all, I applaud you, and I know you're a trailblazer, which is awesome, and you're also incredibly competent. I can just tell, and hearing from Burke as well. So, so congratulations on breaking through that ceiling. It might not be something you intended to do, but I'm sure it's going to affect generations of women to come. So, I think once somebody does something like that, it becomes realistic and in something that people can really aim to attain. But I did want to ask a couple questions. You seem remarkably balanced and calm, and I wonder, how do you juggle all this? I mean, you've got a lot going on. I know you love golf, and you've got your consulting and working at all these. How do you juggle everything together, and how do you prioritize?
Someone once told me, if you want to get something done, ask a busy person.
Yeah.
And that's the way I wake up. I'm a huge note taker, list maker, have a notepad next to my bed so I follow up with things. And I love completion. So I organize myself, and I start every project by saying, what if I was on the other side, if I'm on the receiving side, how would I want that? Well, I'd want it done quickly. I would want a response, even if it's saying received and I'll be back to you by this date. So I just live my life on how I would want to be treated if I was on the other side.
Yeah.
Excellent. I have a question for you. Is you picked up golf at what age?
30.
At 30. Okay. Which your older brother picked up golf at what age?
5.
5. Right? And can you beat him today? Say yes.
Handily.
Just say yes.
Handily.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Oh, we did forget also another achievement. Picking up golf at 30, being the first woman president of Thunderbird, and also club champion.
How many
And-
times?
15
Go
times.
ahead and say, how many times?
15.
Wow.
That's awesome. Burke, how many times have you been club champion?
0.
Sorry, I can't resist. I am from
That's
a large
fair.
family, as Burke said. So that's what we do. That's how we show love.
I-
But yeah, back to SeaHill though, is did SeaHill actually start? You said on the golf course, but it started at Thunderbird.
No,
Okay.
I'm from Boston, so I spend half the year in Boston and half the year I can work remotely. So half the year Rancho Mirage, California. So actually it was in Boston, and I was playing in a charity tournament and just got paired up with 2 people and said, "Oh, you're not doing anything. Why don't you come in and look at all of our clients and kind of do a review of what we're doing? We can tell you're a person kind of that has personality and can read through lines." And so I did. And I started doing that 20 hours a week. And then it grew into full time. And then candidly, I took it and said, I want to do it a little differently. Back to that mantra of treat people how you want to be treated. And the world of staffing is not a glamorous world. It is, the first thing when you say, oh, I own a staff, oh, you're a headhunter.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a headhunter. I'm a solutions person with finding your next career path and, educating people. And, the biggest challenge for me professionally has been in staffing, because so much is out of your control.
Oh, do I know?
And that has been, I was an equity trader for 30 years. Well, that you can hit a button and you control it from beginning to end. In staffing, I can go find you the job, Brian, and you can tell me you're so excited. Brian, you didn't show up for the interview. Yeah, I wasn't feeling it. Brian, you didn't show up for your first day of work. Bill, you told me you were an engineer. You're really, a network guy. Oh, did I miss it? All of that has been such a growth, because I want to always make my clients happy and have the solution for them. And I'm trusting someone that I've met for an hour or 2, or trusting my team that they have asked the right questions to submit Brian to our client that we value, and have that go wrong has been a huge learning experience. We grew up in a controlling family, and not control in a bad way, but you want to get something done, you do it your way and you get it done. To my success comes from Brian showing well.
Yeah.
And so I don't know that you know, but my history and where our debit card, where Burke and I worked before, originated out of staffing.
I did know.
And staffing is by far the hardest industry I've ever been in for exactly what you said, is you have the most imperfect product that you can do nothing about because it is other humans. So very challenging. And you've been able to be successful at it. So congrats. Burke, back to you.
I would ask you one more question, Hillary, and how are we doing on time, Bill? Pretty close?
We got about 5 minutes.
Okay. So talking about our theme today has been kind of interfamily relations. You started this business, and for clarity, Hillary, it was a staffing firm you met on the golf course. You brought in some, I will say, besides being successful in terms of winning tournaments, you've closed a lot of business on the golf course. And that doesn't necessarily come from what you shoot, but how you behave on the golf course. Tell us a story there. You don't have to name clients, but you have a substantial client that came out of, I would say, your behavior on the golf course versus your performance. Would you agree?
Yes, it was my best round ever though that day. But so I randomly met in a bar, actually, these three gentlemen, and I was with a friend, and we started talking, and they said, "Oh, do you play golf?" And I was like, "Yes." And they named a place, and they said, "Have you ever played here?" And I said, "No, I haven't played here, but my husband just played and said it was awesome." And they said, "Well, if you can show up at 7:30 tomorrow morning," and this is at 12:30 at night.
Oh my.
If you can
Okay.
show up at 7:30, you can play with us. And I'm like, okay. And not thinking about who the people were. Candidly, I was thinking about the golf course that I was going to be able to play. So I Uber home and then have to figure out how to get there the next morning, because we only have one car. And not to bore you, but our mom was in the hospital at the time, and the car had to go to the hospital. So I'm trying to figure out how an Uber can pick me up at 6:30 to get through the gate to get me over to this golf. So needless to say, I do not sleep because I'm excited. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get there. Whole thing. I go in to tell my dad, I'm like, "Dad, I got to go play golf at 7:30. Fine." So I go play. We have the most fun. We're laughing. We're talking about, just random things. And all of a sudden he goes, "What do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I'm starting my own staffing firm, da, da, da." And he said, "All right, call me on Monday." And he helped. He didn't help. He made happen my first client for SeaHill Consulting Group, which
Which is a
was
Fortune
instrumental.
500 company.
Yes, was instrumental in driving home kind of the start and success of SeaHill Consulting Group.
That is the
add, Brian, for the listeners, because Hillary is a success story. So she just mentioned mom and dad. Hillary and Jack do not live with my parents. Our father is no longer with us. My parents live with Jack and Hillary in their house in the winter. So I think some listeners might have just gone, "What do you mean you went and asked dad?"
I know.
Because
Sorry.
mom and dad live with you, not you live with mom and dad, just for clarity. So
which is also a pivot we have, many of
Mhm.
us at
Yes.
this time of life. And also congrats, getting those first clients as an entrepreneur is brutally hard. That until you go through it, you don't really understand. And I think that also is an outstanding example of putting yourself out there and taking the opportunity when it presents itself is the blessing that you can't miss.
I
So
100% agree. And that is the best lesson. Well, I'll say top 5 because I've learned a lot from my brother. Burke has always kind of shown and led by example. People want to help you, Hillary. You have to explain to them what you do you know, the good news about staffing is I'm not asking for anyone's money. That is the
Yes.
last thing I like to do. People want to help. They're vested in making you better and giving you advice. And Burke paved that path for me because I didn't think that way. I thought, oh, I'm really bothering Bill or Brian and taking up their time. No, if they can help you, they will help you. And at least the people that you really want to work with or be around will help you.
So true.
You know, and that's it. I can't thank my brother enough for that learning lesson.
So, Bill, do you have a final inquiry for our fantastic guest?
Well, I would love to hear your view. You know, our community is full of people that are kind of thinking about or actually are starting over and not maybe ready to hang up the skates yet. And what kind of advice would you give to people, let's just say like 55 and up, when they decide to either, you know, start their own business or go back and work for a company? What, you know, that's kind of a weird time to be starting. I mean, certainly from my perspective growing up, old people just went off and retired and that was it. What kind of advice would you give to people in general about what they should do and how they could be competitive?
You're only as old as you want to be. And I think we are young. This is a different generation. If you're under 80 years old, I think you still have so much to give back. My kind of thing that I follow is challenge yourself, always be trying to learn and go outside of your comfort zone, make it fun, and surround yourself around people that you enjoy and make you better. It's
Great
a number
advice.
to me. I don't differentiate myself from the 25-year-old or the 80-year-old. I start my outlook or my day saying, how can I make what I'm doing better? Age just isn't, it isn't in my play. It isn't in my playbook. It's, if I have
Awesome.
wisdom, I want to learn wisdom from you guys. I think the 25-year-old can teach me something I'd never thought of because they look at it differently. I I think having all levels makes success. And I just think we've raised the bar on what that age is at the top. And that's great.
I love that comment that we can all learn something from each other. I think sometimes the best environments that I've worked in have been with a really kind of across the board different age groups and people being open to learning, not saying, you know, one generation's better, XYZ, you know, whatever that is, harder working, whatever. Just really what can you learn from each other? I think that's a great message. Whether you're starting your own business or going back into, you know, an established workplace.
Well,
Exactly.
Burke, how are we on time, Bill?
We're at time.
Also, so Burke, do you want to wrap up with
Yes.
Hillary? And Burke, thank you for bringing Hillary to our show. We really appreciate you taking time, Hillary. I know we're holding you up from a tea time that is very, very important. So go ahead, Burke.
Yeah, I'll just say again, thank you, Hillary. You came to mind early when we started this process. I will say to our community, we want to hear from you. And if Hillary can help you at SeaHill, she'd love to hear from you. But we really want to hear your stories. Hillary's story is a great one in many folds, both with her golf game, her success at golf, her success becoming the first female president of what used to be stodgy old man's club, but also with SeaHill and the way she started her business. So we've all come back. We all are on our hero's journey. We are all on the arc of the story, as Bill taught me. So we'd love to hear from you all. But Hillary, you've been a great first guest.
Thank you.
Yes,
It was
your
an honor.
story is fantastic. I've been privileged to watch it as your brother, participated in it as your employee, and also just celebrate your success as your friend. So thank you very much for joining us today. We'll hope you continue to follow us on our other social media besides here on YouTube. We've got Instagram, we've got Facebook, we've got LinkedIn, and our articles you can find on Substack. So thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it. And it is the week of Christmas. So Merry Christmas to you all. And thank you again.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Hillary.
Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.